Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge. A new era.
Our founders declared a new order of the ages.
But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together.
So, the New World Order, global citizens, New Order of the Ages. What? Who's running the world? It sounds simple enough, and a few years back I would have thought it a pretty silly question myself. We can all see who's running the world. President and Congress run the U.S. The UK is a parliamentary style system headed by a prime minister. South Korea has a president. Putin is the Russian president, and so on. This video isn't about the world's control structure, it's about Bill Nye, and I'll relate the two here in a bit. Whatever you believe, and there are many beliefs, believe this. The world we live in is all about deception, and just by looking around, we can all see that for ourselves. A long time ago, we took the girls to a White Sox game at Comiskey Park in Chicago. I had never been to that stadium before, and it was a long time before I had a pocket computer pointing me everywhere. So I stumbled around a bit looking for a parking spot, and I saw a man in a bright orange vest with a badge hanging out around his neck, and he called me over. I rolled my window down, and he said it was $15 for parking, so I gave it to him. He pointed me to a gate and told me someone inside the gate would guide me from there. So I rolled up the window and drove to and through the gate, where I was greeted by an identically dressed man who stopped me. I rolled the window down to hear him say, "Parking is $15, sir." To which I replied that I had already paid the man on the other side of the gate. He proceeds to tell me they don't have any staff on the outside of the gate collecting money. I had been deceived, and I felt very foolish for letting it happen. But who hasn't been deceived in their life at one point or another? I mean, all of us have. Is it embarrassing? Absolutely. For many people, including myself, not wanting to admit they have been deceived is a pride that is difficult to get over, and for some people, they can never get over it, even though we live in a deceptive world. We expect it, but when it happens, it hurts our pride. In this world, we're always on guard for a lie. We essentially live in a lie. I don't know where I first heard this thing, but it goes like this, that there are three types of people in the world. Those who know the truth and believe, those who are shown the truth and believe, and those who are shown the truth and never believe. So I'll leave the question of who runs the world at that. If you grew up going to church like I did, you were told Lucifer and all of his angels, a full 33% of the entire angel complement, they were cast out of heaven after a coup d'etat. I'm not here to preach at you. Don't worry. Stay with me. If you follow this line of thought, though, you have to ask yourself, where did they go? What have they been doing? Maybe, just maybe, they have been planning, creating, controlling, and guiding this place we live in for thousands of years, building the deception through historical manipulation and twisting everything into the opposite of what it should be. It's all about opposites, right? They've not been sitting around watching TV, sleeping in, playing video games all day, and staring at their devices. They are the ones creating those devices and offering humanity a complete package of entertainment from start to finish. With millions of eyeballs around the world, transfixed, staring, listening to the programming being fed to them. Controlling the narrative has never been easier for Lucifer and his minions. His content is transmitted instantaneously around the world via a network of interconnected devices. The technology revolution isn't about giving you more freedom, it's about making you a slave. They create the content. They drive the narrative. It's our job to test that narrative.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Science rules. Bill Nye
Seriously, this next thing I feel is very special. This is a cool little segment.
This one goes out to all my bipeds who identify as later. World of ours is full of choice, but must I choose between only John or Joyce? Cause my sex junk is so much more than either. Evolution ain't nothing new. Drag queen, drag king, just do what feels right.
By the science guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Junk is so much more than either.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Mr. Nye is not a scientist at all. He's actually a mechanical engineer. And I'm not knocking mechanical engineers at all. I've got several friends who do just that, and they're brilliant people, but they're not scientists. Most scientists and engineers will tell you that real work doesn't cross into the entertainment world, and when you see it happen, it's a big red flag. Entertainment is deception, just on the surface of it. I mean, no one believes Darth Vader really exists, but you do when you're locked in a dark theater watching him on the screen for that moment in time. Bill Nye, he spent some time working a real job. He worked at Boeing for 9 years. Apparently achieved some really spectacular things, including an invention that goes on a 747. His move into entertainment was specifically targeted at children, though, and that is important. He achieved his fame from a PBS show, that Bill Nye the Science Guy, and never returned to the engineering world. From that launching point, Bill Nye has been a force to be reckoned with. Armed with his young fan base, he's set about new conquests such as climate change, and most recently, this Netflix show I just showed you, Bill Nye Saves the World. An agenda that pushes a familiar idea that we are all one. The idea of oneness, it sounds great. We're all humans, and we're all in it together. Rah rah, rally the troops to save humanity. But in the end, the one agenda is all about transhumanism. And science is going to play the starring role in how it's implemented. So these two, they definitely cross. The Republican congressman you see, Jim Bridenstine, that's President Trump's pick to also head NASA, just goes to show you that deception comes in all shapes, sizes, and political affiliations. The New World Agenda is real, and they'll use anyone to achieve the end game. Don't be fooled by politicians kissing babies. Watch what they do and who they hang out with, who they endorse. Test the narrative they are handing you every single time.